Okay, this is a stupid question. Okay, you can preface it with that. Does he know what One Piece is?
اكيد يعني مده الطفوله وانا اشاهد ون بيس لوفي.
You said Luffy?
Yeah, he said he's been watching it since he was a kid.
No way!
Yeah.
That's sick. Yes, that's fire.
You realize there's civilians who have been kidnapped. Bro, I'm sorry. This is actually deranged fucking Orientalism. There's just so little thought and so little interest going into what the Houthis actually do or what this guy actually thinks or what he supports. It's just like asking every question and like just assuming he just believes exactly what I do. Like, this is insane though. This is absolutely insane. Everything we know about Timhouthi Chalamet, the Yemeni influencer celebrating Red Sea ship raids. A handsome Yemeni influencer's account vanished from TikTok after posting a tour of a captured cargo ship. The fight over Red Sea shipping channels between Western militaries and Houthi revolutionaries is playing out online as well as on water. On January 15th, a user on X reposted a TikTok of a young man sailing around the Galaxy Leader, a cargo ship seized by Yemen's militant Houthis last year. Yemeni pirates posting casual TikToks while the entire Western Imperial Corps are having a meltdown about their blockade on their ships is the funniest shit of 2024, surely, the user wrote in a caption. Okay. As of this writing, the video has been viewed more than 13 million times, with social media users dubbing the handsome man Timhouthi. Timhouthi. Okay. The video was filmed by a Yemeni influencer who calls himself Rashid al-Haddad online, and there's no clear evidence that he actually participated in the raid that captured Galaxy Leader. But he does look good when posing next to the ship. Al-Haddad, who frequently posts photos of himself wearing warfighting gear and carrying weapons on social media, appears to be part of a new online trend where influencers post content to promote their side of a given conflict. The TikTok account featured in the tweet is now gone and was last scraped on Tuesday morning by the Internet Archive. It's unclear if TikTok removed it or not. The social media company did not immediately return Motherboard's request for comment. Timhouthi is just one part of a larger phenomenon of the Red Sea conflict playing out online. Houthis post videos of their raids on Telegram, which get shared on X. Yemeni politicians and military leaders post their speeches online. Influencers like Al-Haddad post media of the captured ships and remix the speeches. Captain Chris Hill, captain of the USS Eisenhower, which is bombing Yemen, is posting pictures of his ship's crew posing with cookies. Okay. Oh, this is the Imperial Corps. I feel like every time someone says Imperial Corps, they are just like, I just know they know nothing about any country ever. Like, TikTok isn't Al-Haddad's only outlet. He appears to run numerous social media accounts on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, YouTube, and Snapchat with thousands of followers. For example, his YouTube page posted its first video a year ago and has over 26,000 subscribers. Hey! On Threads, he refers to himself as a media personality, actor, and photographer, and highlights his cross-platform follower counts. In some of the photos, he's wearing military-style garb and carrying an AK-47. He also frequently posts messages of support for Palestine. Houthi militants, frequently referred to as pirates in the West, are striking militant Western ships in retaliation for their military support of Israel's ongoing siege of Gaza. But many of the videos in his Instagram reels are self-made fan cams where still photos of him in fashionable dress cycle over electronic music. There's no proof that Al-Haddad participated in the capturing of Galaxy Leader, but Houthis did capture the vessel on November 19th, 2023. Footage of the influencer touring the ship first appeared in his Instagram on November 29th, 2023. In the wake of its viral success, accounts linked to Al-Haddad remixed footage from his Galaxy Leader trip and pushed it to the top of his feeds. There have been rumors that Galaxy Leader has become a tourist destination in Yemen, and Al-Haddad's posts from the ship may reinforce this idea. In multiple videos on Instagram, he walks the deck and bows of the ship, showing it off and posing. In the background of many of these videos, you can see other people doing the same. The ship appears to be crawling with people posing and taking photos. Al-Haddad's posts may just be the first that have taken off in the West. Motherboard found several social media accounts on Instagram and TikTok, for example, linked to Al-Haddad that have been taken down either by the user that owns them or by the platforms. The Houthis were designated as a terror group under the Trump administration, a decision that was rescinded under Biden in 2021. The Houthis are still not officially designated a terror group in the US, although Biden referred to them as a terrorist group last week. Fickle Western social media audiences love a mix of the military and sex. The Israeli military knows this, which is why they've been pushing thirst traps of its soldiers online for years. In the US, there's been a marked increase in e-girls wearing American military regalia, posting about life in uniform. The most famous of these is Lujan, an influencer who posts sexualized imagery while explaining the ins and outs of propaganda. On a real one, Stop Sexualizing the Houthis, Comrade Mika, the user who posted Al Haddad's viral TikTok, said in a follow-up post on X. Hey. While Al Haddad posts and social media thirsts, the US continues its bombardment of Houthi locations in Yemen, where militants have been striking at American and British ships in retaliation for their military support of Israel's ongoing siege of Gaza. 2 US Navy SEALs are presumed dead after a raid looking for ballistic missiles in the Red Sea. The 25-member crew of the Galaxy Leader remains in Houthi custody. Wait, they fucking kidnapped the crew! Of course they... Wait, man. They still... Fuck. Oh my god. Bro. You've been saying this every stream. Yeah, well, I don't pay attention to everyone in chat. Get over it, bitch. All right. Okay. Okay. I guess we should start talking about what happened then, shall we? So, November of 2023, the Houthis, who control a substantial part of Yemen, a minority of the territory, but the majority of the populated parts, a rebel group that fights against Saudi and the UAE primarily. They were designated as a terrorist organization by the United States up until 2021 when it was revoked after things started to calm down. The United States has just today decided to redesignate them as terrorists because as a response to the fighting in Gaza between Israel and Hamas, they have decided to attack civilian cargo vessels in the Red Sea. They boarded the first one on November 19th. Yeah, November 19th. They boarded one with guns. They were firing drones at some other ones. They've been firing projectiles at Israel as well. Their weaponry is not great. So they haven't killed anyone, but it's probably quite fortunate. Probably quite lucky that no one's died. They claim that their intent is to save the people of Gaza from Israeli aggression. The more you know about the Houthis, though, picture unrelated, by the way, just so you know. The more you know about the Houthis is when it comes to the fighting, they don't really want the fighting to stop. I don't think. I don't think there's been any indication that they want like a bilateral ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. They want Israel to lose a war against Hamas. They want Hamas to win. They want Israel to be destroyed completely, whether that's by force or by politics, or most likely by force. Yeah, that's what they want. And they wanted to weaken Israel's capabilities in that war. That's what they want. This is like their slogan. They're pretty clear about it. God is the greatest. Death to America. Death to Israel. A curse upon the Jews. See, they hate the Jews so much that they mention them twice. Victory to Islam. So, one of the vessels they boarded was taken to shore to Yemen, and it was apparently became a tourist attraction where people have been boarding it and taking pictures and videos, making little TikToks with it. The crew, I just learned this right now, the crew of Galaxy Leader, the cargo ship that was seized, are still in captivity for almost a month now, like 25 of them. It seems to be the case that a lot of these vessels that were attacked by the Houthis had nothing to do with Israel. Some of them were under ownership of Japan, or like flagged with the Bahamas, or one was like Indian. Or one was from Liberia. Yeah, it's so they're a pretty I feel like there's a big effort being made by people to kind of project their own political desires and their own preferences onto the Houthis because there just isn't, it's not very accessible, like exactly what they're saying all the time. So the idea is that some people have interpreted the Houthis' actions as like a non-violent BDS-style blockade of only Israeli ships because they want to put pressure on the rest of the world to stop supporting a genocide in Gaza. That's like their version of the story. But that's actually not what the Houthis want at all. It seems to be what the Houthis are doing is indiscriminately firing rockets at Israel, hoping to hit something. Iron Dome stops it. And also indiscriminately attacking civilian vessels, blocking trade in the Red Sea, forcing ships to go round, meaning that everyone's prices go up eventually, and kidnapping crew members. That's kind of what they're actually doing. And with the express goal of destroying Israel. That's what they want. They want Israel to get fucked off the map. Militarily, seems to be what they're going for. They're doing it quite badly, but I don't think you really get let off the hook for trying and failing. And this guy has emerged on the internet because he's a TikToker, a YouTuber, a social media influencer who was taking selfies and little promo videos of himself on the captured vessel. He has been prematurely, I think, labeled as a pirate or a Houthi militant. The fact of the matter is, we don't know if that's the case at all, actually. We don't really know that much about this person. Full stop. We do know that he likes to pose with guns and other such weaponry, military gear. We know that he posts videos from himself on this ship saying, ready for sacrifice and eager for martyrdom. So we know he said that. I think this might be the one. No, that's not the one. There's one where he's got like a voiceover on it. Where's the voiceover? This one.
توعدنا أتتوعدنا بما ننتظر يا ابن اليهودية أما والذي رفع السماء بلا عمد فإن نواضح غزة تنتظركم.
Now, you might have noticed a word in there, Yehudia. So what he's saying there, this is from a speech from like 2014. I think it's saying, Arabic translations are sketchy, but I think he's saying, why are you threatening us with what we're waiting for, son of the Jew? That's what he's saying. And then something about going into Gaza. Oh, wait. I swear by who carried the skies without pillar, the streets of Gaza await you. It's in the context of Israel when they were going to do a ground invasion into Gaza in 2014. Son of the Jew. I don't really know how common that phrase is, but yeah, that's what Yehudia means Jew. So it's like son of the Jew. Why are you threatening us with what we're already waiting for, son of the Jew? As in like, martyrdom. So could be a bit of a LARPer. Could also be a Houthi militant. We don't know. It's probably quite irresponsible to. Hang on. Where's the? There's one more. I think it's actually. I think it's. Sorry, no. I was looking at some of his Twitter posts the other day, or earlier today. I think it's actually kind of unlikely that he is a Houthi because he visited Saudi in 2023. See, that's him with the cube. The holy cube. And I don't really know how he would be getting into Saudi with if he's actually like from the Houthis. I don't know. But a sympathizer, 100%. He is a Houthi sympathizer, for sure. That's why he's been going around social media talking about like that's why he went on tour of that boat, and he's like quite proud of what the Houthis are doing. Yeah, that's like he's at the very least a Houthi sympathizer / like independent propagandist, I suppose. And he was interviewed by none other than an occasional friend of the show, Hasan Piker. Hasan interviewed him with an Arabic translator and gave him the most softball puff piece style interview I've ever seen. It's so ironic. Like the defenses that we're seeing of this guy so far are that like all he's really said online is that like he just wants to help the Palestinians. You know, he's just anyone who wants to help the Palestinians. We're a friend of yours. Like even like anti-Zionist Jews. Like I think he was one of Hasan's questions to him. And it's just really interesting to see that this guy who claims to be at least like some form of influencer is just kind of like potentially quite like possibly taking all of these like Western supporters for a ride, because the fact of the matter is, we don't actually know anything about this guy. We don't know what he's done. We don't know what he really believes. Like, we don't know any of this. And people are just projecting their own wishes, like, of what they want him to be, because I guess he's like a handsome young fucking freedom fighter, I guess. And so everyone's just kind of injecting their own ideology like onto him, which is very odd to me. I've noticed basically everyone has already like planted their flag in the dirt, saying that he's got like nothing to do with the Houthis. He's never done any fighting or anything like that. Like that's kind of like the message that we're being told now from people. I don't really think it matters to fight people on that particular issue, because I guarantee you, everyone who is currently saying that this guy is not a Houthi fighter, if it turns out that he is, they'll all just turn around and say it's base that he is. That's it. But don't know anything about him. Don't actually really care all that much. Because personally, I am a what do you call it? A determinist. You know, I believe that we are products of our environment for the most part. I believe that if I'm not going to purity test or like dig deep into this guy who is like probably like 19 to 21 years old, most it seems, who grew up in Yemen, who probably lost like half of his fucking loved ones to a Saudi cluster bomb. I don't know. I feel like in those circumstances, half of you dipshits would join the Houthis as well and be like this guy, maybe even worse. I don't know. Or at least support them or sympathize. Like, whatever. I'm not really gonna do that. What I do think is probably worth purity testing or judging is a Western millionaire influencer with the largest political streamer platform on Twitch taking this guy on for a softball puff piece where they talk about anime. And apparently, like, I haven't seen the full thing, but apparently they laugh about, like, drugging the captain of the captured vessel or taking drugs. Like, I don't know. It's just like kidnapping civilians. You're kidnapping them and taking them as hostages. I don't know. That's kind of fucked up to me. That's kind of fucked up. Because again, we don't know anything. Hasan definitely doesn't. We don't know anything about this guy. We don't know what he's done. We don't know anything about what he believes or what he's done. We don't know anything. But it seems to be the most charitable interpretation of him, based on his own words, is that he is a quasi-independent propagandist for the Houthis. That seems to be like the best faith interpretation of who he is. I don't know. It's just weird. The kind of the energy that people have when it comes to sex and war being combined, like by using attractive people to front, because again, it's what the IDF does. The IDF will put their most good-looking members on camera and put them around Twitter and shit like that to make people sympathize with them more. Like the IDF waifu. You realize that like it's the same kind of shit, right? Yeah. Golly. So, I don't know. Yeah, a best faith interpret. Like again, he could just be on the LARP brigade, saying that he's like ready for martyrdom whilst carrying a bunch of weaponry and appearing on a captured vessel about 10 days after it was captured, and joking about meeting the kidnapped crew members. Yeah, it could all just be a LARP. Yeah, it could be. I just find it so strange that the people right now who are denying flat out, who have decided, who have concluded that this guy is definitely not a Houthi fighter, are the same people who said that Kyle Rittenhouse was a white supremacist because he did a photo with the Proud Boys. And I guess because they think he killed black people, half some of them, I don't know. Yeah. I feel like people are quite quick to drop these labels on people based on who they take photographs with or what their Facebook groups are and shit like that. But for this guy, you know, we're just like, nah, you know. This guy's definitely legit. Yeah, I don't. Oh, God. Aren't guns a super common part of Arab life? Yeah, it's again, that's why I'm saying we don't know. Yeah, it's not uncommon for people to have guns in the Middle East. I don't really know if, again, I don't really know about this kind of garb, though. I don't know how common it is to run around Arab countries dressed like this and not be a militant. I don't know if that's like a regular old thing, but because he looks fairly decked out. But we don't know, and I don't think it's responsible to take him on for like a puff piece interview when you don't know, because you might end up looking quite silly if anything else comes out about him. I don't know. He was asked if he's a militant, and he said no. Wow, yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah, we got him. He said no on camera to an American audience. The guy said he's not actually a militant, that he's not actually, whilst a US bombing campaign is happening in Yemen where they're targeting militants. Okay, yeah, he said he's not a militant. Good one. That's conclusive. Case closed. What's your proof Hasan doesn't know? Listen, no, son, okay? If the rest of the world doesn't know, Hasan definitely doesn't know, okay? I don't know why you... What? Anyway, do I want to watch some clips from the interview or do I want to watch the whole thing? I don't think I want to watch the whole thing, to be honest. It's just going to be cringe. He did the due diligence. That is not due diligence, my guy. That is not due diligence, okay? That's like fucking Dave Rubin taking Paul Joseph Watson on and going, so people are saying, are you a racist? No. Yeah, that's what I thought, you know. I thought people had a vibe about you, but I always thought you were more of a stand-up kind of guy. What else? People are calling you a conspiracy theorist. Are you a conspiracy theorist? No. Oh, that's great, you know, because I always thought some people had a kind of misguided misapprehension that you were some kind of a conspiracy theorist. Okay, come on, bro. Come on. You guys are suckers. Well, some of you anyway. Let's maybe start watching and just see if we get bored. I'm going to say, respectfully, pretty silly thing for Hasan to be doing, I would say. My humble opinion.
I'm trying to interview the young Yemeni, in quotes, pirate who's a TikToker and need help. How the fuck are you going to interview him? I'm going to interview him by having someone who speaks Arabic on. Yeah, I'm talking to him right now. I'm doing journalism, chat. Calm down, okay? Here, this is the guy. Yeah, Timhouthi Chalamet. Brogan is definitely going to find someone. Wait, you are not posting this in the Discord. That's crazy. I was wondering why I got a notification. Thanks, Frogan. You're doing brilliant work back here. Let me just DM him again and say, I am trying to find someone to translate our conversation. What platform is best to talk on? Is that a good way to say it? He said Instagram. Okay, that works. He said, Hasna, wait a few minutes until I set up the lighting. Bro, this dude is a professional, dude. He said, wait a few minutes until I set up.
Look, he's so excited to be talking. Like, this is not journal. It's, yeah, I guess it's like, I guess if Hasan calls himself a propagandist, you know, like, yeah, Hasan just likes this guy. He's a fan. Let's see. This is a FanCammed interview. I don't know. Let's see. Let's go.
Okay, this is a stupid question. Okay, you can preface it with that. Does he know what One Piece is?
One Piece, like, is that an organization?
No, One Piece is an anime.
Oh, okay. اول شيء بقول لك انه ممكن هذا السؤال يكون شوي اهبل، بس بسالك تعرف شو هو ون بيس؟ عمرك سمعت بون بيس؟
اكيد يعني منذ الطفوله وانا اشاهد ون بيس لوفي.
Is it Luffy?
Yeah, he said he's been watching it since he was a kid.
No way!
Yeah.
That's sick. Yes, that's fire. That's so fire. Oh my god, dude. We think the Houthis Ansar Allah is doing what Luffy would do. You should tell him that.
بقول لك حسن انه
Okay, this is a stupid question.
So again, it seems like Hasan is on board with the Houthi thing anyway. Comparing the Houthis to an anime character. This is the due diligence interview again from this guy who seems to support the Houthis. Might even very well be a member or a militant. It's not impossible. It's far from impossible actually. Yeah, that's the journalistic diligence, is it? Jesus Christ. I don't even. Oh God. I wonder what would happen if you told like Karl Marx that one of the loudest voices of American socialism in the 21st century would be like people, again, not just Hasan, it would be a trend for people to align themselves with like Islamist radical militants who attack civilian vessels and have child soldiers and like I don't even what the fuck who detain and abuse like African migrants who pass through the area and who are literally like backed by an Islamic theocracy, and those would be your guys. Oof. Listen, Karl Marx, you think religion is the opium of the people? Well, I got something to tell you about what your movement's going to be supporting in 200 years. Jesus! What a world! Thirst traps are the opiate of the people. Oh God. I don't know. It's a very strange timeline. I don't feel like I feel like it could barely have been predicted 50 years ago, let alone like yesterday. Like the day before yesterday or yesterday, I didn't even know this until today. Someone told me yesterday there's going to be an incredibly handsome Houthi supporting Zoomer who poses in military gear talking about how he's ready for martyrdom and bragging about meeting fucking kidnapped civilians from a cargo vessel, and he's going to get promoted by one of the by the largest thought leader of Twitch socialism. Oh God. Now what I want to know now, what I would like to know now is pre 9/11, let's say pre 9/11, be generous. How many socialists would have been willing to have friendly interviews with bin Laden? I don't know. Maybe just after reading the letter to America. even though half of it, like that letter that everyone was simping over, even though it's just him like blindly schizo posting about American foreign policy, half of which is like completely ahistorical and inaccurate, saying that America helped the Russians in Chechnya and shit. Like, okay. And also saying the reason he hates America is because they're degenerate and LGBT and he hates like, yeah, I don't know. And also that they're run by the Jews. He did say that as well. He hates America because they're degenerate and they're run by the Jews. Oh, God. So fire. Oh, God, they love... Hasan's chat loves it, obviously. God. Anyway.
Up the lighting, dog. Let's see if this works. I'm calling now. Oh, my God, it's working. All right, so what do you want me to call you? Foda? Is that how I say your name?
No, it's Fuad. Yeah.
Okay, what's our friend's name here? I don't know. Can you ask him?
Rashid. اسمك راشد صح؟
أيوة راشد.
Rashid. Okay, Rashid, how old are you? Where are you from originally in Yemen?
قد ايه عمرك ومن وين انت في اليمن؟
عمري 19 من محافظة إب.
He's 19 and he's from Ib Governorate.
Okay, nice. Okay, how is he taking everything? How is he taking in everything so far? Because he's seen the news articles.
يعني شو إحساسك هلا إنه هل شفت التغطية على الأخبار؟ هل قرأت المقالات عنك؟
والله يعني شيء طبيعي يعني ما في أي تأثير يعني أهم شيء إن إحنا نوقف مع القضية الفلسطينية هذا أهم شيء.
He says he's fine and everything is normal and the most important thing is that they stand with Palestine.
Yeah, absolutely. What is the mood in Yemen overall since America started bombing positions in Sana'a and other places?
كيف معنوياتكم في اليمن وكيف الإحساس يعني بالشعب هلا باليمن بعد ما بلشت أمريكا بالقصف؟
والله شيء طبيعي يعني ما في أي خوف ولا أي تأثير يعني أصلاً متعودين على هذا من قبل 11 سنة يعني شيء طبيعي ما في أي شيء.
He's saying that it's pretty usual. They've been used to this for 11 years now and they're not scared.
That's crazy. Okay, this is a stupid question. Okay, you can preface it with that. Does he know what One Piece is?
أول شيء
Oh, that came in like right at the beginning. Jesus Christ. Before checking anything. Straight to the One Piece. A Gooner. Oh, Arsenal. Oh, shit. Click on the next ones. There's not next ones. That was just the single one.
لك إنه ممكن هذا السؤال يكون شوي أهبل بس بسألك تعرف شو هو ون بيس؟ عمرك سمعت بون بيس؟
أكيد يعني منذ الطفولة وأنا أشاهد ون بيس لوفي.
Is it Luffy?
Yeah, he said he's been watching it since he was a kid.
No way!
Yeah.
That's sick. Yes. That's fire. That's so fire. Oh my God. We think the Houthis, Ansar Allah, is doing what Luffy would do. You should tell him that.
بقول لك حسن إنه اللي الحوثيين عم بيسووه زي اللي لوفي اللي بيسويه لوفي.
يعني والله الصدق يعني إحنا يعني أهم شيء إن إحنا واقفين يعني مع فلسطين يعني ما يهمنا يعني ون بيس أو أي شيء يعني إحنا يعني السفن احتجزوها عشان القضية عشان فلسطين بس عشان إيقاف الحرب في فلسطين يعني ليس على أي شيء أو غنائم أو أي شيء.
He's saying that again, like the only motivation that they have is to their solidarity with Palestine and to stop the attack on Palestine, and it's not for any kind of.
Yeah. Exactly. No, I'm saying it's a good thing. I understand. So that's what he's saying that the reasons as to why there have been any sort of interceptions on vessels is due to the ongoing genocide in Gaza. Tell him it's not for loot. I know it's not for loot.
بقول لك هو بيعرف إنه ما عم بتوقف السفن عشان.
Why are we assuming that? Why do we know it's not for loot? Why do we know they're not looting the ship? What the fuck? And I guess that also that they're keeping the crew captive for 25. You know what this is? Bro, I'm sorry. This is actually fucking like Orientalism. This is like just deranged fucking Orientalism. It's this idea that like there's so little thought and so little interest going into what the Houthis actually do or what this guy actually thinks or what he supports. It's just like asking every question and like just assuming he just believes exactly what I do. He's just doing it exactly how I would have done it. Like, what the fuck, man? I don't know. I feel like I would be really embarrassed. Like if, oh shit. Why is there no looting? Is this guy, is it just like, is all Houthi action just like noble? Is that what we're just assuming now? Like even even if you didn't view them as like a terrorist organization, or if you didn't oppose them completely, it's like the Houthis are part of a war in a very poor part of the world. Like, I don't, like fucking normal armies engage in looting, let alone like armies of like liberal democracies that have some level of like people being reprimanded and shit like that, are like who don't even need the loot will loot. But we're assuming these guys don't. The noble pirates, yeah, I guess so.
تاخذ منهم شيء بيعرف انه سبب انه حجز السفن عشانكم ضد الاباده الجماعيه اللي عم بتصير في فلسطين.
ايوه صح.
Yeah, he acknowledges that.
I'm at a loss. I mean, I don't know if he can answer this or not, but as far as the Ansar Allah militancy goes, like as far as the standing military goes, like I don't know if he is allowed to speak on this. I don't know if he's like actually a part of the groups at all, or just like simply a TikToker. You know what I mean? I don't know how to ask that in the best way possible, though.
Yeah, I feel like you can ask it pretty directly.
I feel like I don't even. I don't know. I like it how the One Piece like befriending question came before even asking if he's part of the Houthis. But again, it's like, I don't really, you would never do this in any other situation. Like Dave Rubin used to do this. He used to take on white supremacists, like race realists or anti-Semites or whatever and his way of getting around it would just be like, I don't know, people tell me you're an anti-Semite, but are you? And they're like, no. And then, wow, okay, just proceed to talk for the next two. Like, come on.
راشد حسن بدي يسألك أنت يعني منضم لأي من المجموعات يعني أنت بتعتبر حالك من أنصار الله ولا بتعتبر حالك بس يعني شخصية على التيك توك ولا يعني
He literally did ask, I don't know, I feel like a more stringent interviewer if they actually wanted to find out, for example, would be maybe to ask why he's got stuff on his Twitter saying that he's ready for martyrdom or why he's posing in military gear. Like maybe those kinds of questions. Or what his opinion of the Houthis are, or oh, what do you think of like their slogan, or what do you think of them doing this, or this, or this, or this? I guess Hasan's not going to ask him that though. Probably not going to ask this guy's opinions on child soldiers, or on like Islamic fundamentalism, or on attacking civilian vessels and capturing the crew, because I guess he supports that part apparently. I don't even know why people in chat, like one or two of you, are assuming that this is any different from how a normal journalist would handle this, like a responsible journalist. Like, fuck.
يعني بده يعرف شو الرابط بينك وبين أنصار الله.
طيب يعني بقول لك يعني أنا يمني يعني كيمني يعني أنا واقف إلى جانب فلسطين.
His answer is a Yemeni who stands with Palestine.
What led him to go to one of the ships?
I would also maybe be a little bit fucking suspicious of someone who is like just simplifying. Normally, if you have an opportunity to speak about your ideas, right, what you stand for, is you would elaborate a bit because this is your one chance. The fact that he is keeping everything like really close to his chest, like I'm just a Yemeni who supports Palestine, that's it. Because clearly he has other opinions about other issues and things like that, or what he supports and what he disapproves of. Again, it's like, oh, I'm just an American who loves democracy. I'm just an American who loves my country. Like, yeah, okay. Normally, you would ask a bit more than that, yeah.
Personally, like what were some experiences that he had that caused him to want to go?
حسن بده يعرف شو هو.
That is not normal in Arab culture. We do not go around with guns. I don't know if it's normal in like in Houthi-controlled Yemen, though, is it? But what I would imagine is if you're in Houthi-controlled Yemen, would you be allowed to walk around with guns if you were not part of the Houthis? Do they have like local militias who are independent of the Houthis, or like separate militias that support the Houthis but aren't formally members? Again, we know that he supports the Houthis. Like we know that, and he was on the ship. He went on the ship after like 10 days after it was docked, though, after it was taken to shore. So apparently other Yemeni civilians have been going on to the ships and taking pictures. Like that's been a thing.
Lonerbox.
He is also saying, I don't know if all the if average Yemeni civilians in Houthi territory are allowed to meet the hostages, though. Would that be normal? Is it normal for civilians to? Because he did say that he met the hostages, didn't he? Are the hostages, are they part of the tourist attraction?
هو اللي دفعك على زيارة السفن هاي، وشو التجارب اللي مريت فيها اللي خلتك تهتم بهذا الإشي، وإنه يكون جع بالك إنه تزور هاي السفن؟
والله أنا أحب المغامرات، وطبعا هذا كله لأجل فلسطين يعني، وإن شاء الله في يعني في أشياء بتكون جديد وأشياء مثيرة أكبر.
He says he likes adventures, and he is a big supporter of Palestine, and he's looking forward to bigger and more exciting things.
Well, one, tell him that this community of mostly Americans.
Bigger and more exciting things. Like what? That's a good question. Okay.
Americans raised more than $1 million for Palestinian charities. So he knows that I'm not, some Fed or some.
حسن بدي اقول لك انه هو كمان
Oh
من
my God,
دعم
it's
الفلسطينيين، وهاي الجاليه اللي احنا بننتمي لها في امريكا كمان داعمه لفلسطين، وجمعنا اكثر من $1,000,000 يعني تأييد للشعب الفلسطيني. فبده يتاكد انك ما بتفكر انه هو يعني انه امريكي او يعني انه ضدك او اي شيء.
والله أقول لها يعني شكرا الله يعني، ويعني كلنا لازم نحن إن شاء الله يعني تنتصر فلسطين إن شاء الله، يعني النصر قريب لها، وإحنا يعني واقفين معاهم لآخر لحظة.
واحنا واقفين معك. هذا اللي بده يحكي لك اياه حسن. He's saying that he just wants a victory for Palestine, and he acknowledges our solidarity as well.
What does he think about the fact that American media
But that, again, like victory for Palestine meaning what exactly? Like, I think even, you know what? One person who actually thought had a really good way of putting this was Norman Finkelstein back in the day when he was talking about the BDS organization, like the organization, not as a practice. Like, but the fact that the organization had their 3 demands, right? It was equal rights for Palestinians to live in Israel. It was right of return, and the 67 borders, but it was full right of return. So then the idea is that if you want full right of return and the 67 borders, well, then you're going to have 2 states, but both states will eventually have Palestinian majorities because there are a lot of Palestinians in the diaspora. And if you get full right of return, then they're all going to Israel. So they were asked, I think, what's your position on Israel? But they would say, we don't have a position on Israel. We only have a position on Palestinian human rights. And it's like, well, you kind of do have a position in Israel if you're advocating for full right of return. It means you don't want Israel to exist. And why wouldn't you say that? As far as the Houthis go, I don't think the Houthis take the human rights position. I think they want Israel to get destroyed through strength of arms. Like that's why they're fighters. So again, I guess we support like invading Israel and conquering it militarily now, and regardless of how many dead Arabs you get in exchange for trying that.
In general keeps claiming that the reasons as to why the Yemeni militias are intercepting vessels is for completely oblivious reasons, like belligerent reasons, and not for Palestine. They don't talk about that at all here. How does he feel about that?
شو رأيك بتغطية الوسائل الإعلام الأمريكية للمواضيع يعني المعلقة بحجز السفن بالبحر الأحمر؟ يعني حسن بيقول لك إنه الوسائل الإعلام الأمريكية يعني بتحكي إنه أو بتدعي إنه أسباب الميليشيات اليمنية لاحتجاز هاي السفن إنه ما إلها داعي أو ما إلها أي رابط بفلسطين. شو
I guess we support defending Ukraine now, regardless of how many die. Lonerbox sounds like a Russia supporter whenever he talks about Israel. Yeah, Donnie Donson, for everyone whose like IQ is higher than their shoe size, it's quite easy to infer that when you talk about Ukraine winning doesn't mean Russia gets destroyed. Ukraine winning doesn't mean the end of a nation. Like, you destroy an entire country that's existed for 75 years or longer for Russia. Like, that's a bit different. Those goals are different. The parameters are completely different. If you're talking about ending the occupation of the 67 borders or the West Bank and Gaza, that's a different fight than ending all of it. Like, that's a very different goal. Zelensky called for regime change. Yeah, some people, if you're being invaded by a different country, you'd probably like them to have a different leader. That doesn't mean Ukraine wants to steamroll into Moscow and overthrow him, you fucking retard. Okay, sorry, wait, I think I know exactly who you are. Sorry, wait. Again, like Ukraine has a tangible goal as well. It can actually be achieved. Like, they can reclaim territory, whereas you just want like a bunch of Arabs to run face first into the most powerful military in the region, where they all are most likely going to die. That's what you want. You want dead Arabs so you can grandstand in their graves. Go away. Leave me alone. Fuck off. All right.
رد فعلك لهذا الشيء؟
والله يعني هذا كله بسبب عشان يعني يوقفوا الحرب في غزة، يعني خليهم يعانوا عشان يحسوا في غزة.
بس يعني اللي قصدي اياه انه الوسائل الاعلام في امريكا بتدعي انه يعني الحوثيين عم بتدخلوا بمرور السفن في البحر الاحمر، او عم بيحجز السفن لاسباب غير معلقه بفلسطين. فشو رد فعلك لهذا الشيء؟
والله يعني صراحة يعني هذا هو الصح، يعني انهم يوقفوا السفن عشان هذا مؤثر عليهم. يعني لو ما كان مؤثر عليهم ما كانوا نزلوا بالتواصل الاجتماعي وقاموا بضرب اليمن.
He's just reiterating that the cause is to cause disruption to the shipments that Americans have interest in until they stop bombing Gaza, and that if they weren't affected by it, then they wouldn't retaliate on Yemen. But like I asked twice about the media, and he's just not like.
Okay. What has the response from Yemen been?
It's like every vessel, but it seems to be, it's not just American vessels. I thought it was only Israeli vessels. Now it's American vessels. I guess so that they stop supporting it. Okay. Again, another good question you could ask here is like, okay, do they want? Yeah, so they clearly want the bombing to stop. Do they want Hamas to stop? Like that's not like really the questions you could ask are so easy. In order to learn a little bit more about what the guy wants, but yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll never know. This is going to be the most boring conversation I've ever seen in my life, so I'm probably not going to bother. I don't even know why I'm watching this shit. It's just like, I feel like we spend a lot of time here on a very destructive path of just looking at all the bad takes. But I feel like at the end of the day, I'd probably rather spend more time just offering like a positive, like version of events on my own, you know, whether I can just do like more history stuff or I don't know. Like this is insane though. This is absolutely insane. Let's watch a bit more. Let's watch till 10 minutes. We'll give them a third of our time to see.
Do you mean like what's the response like from the people or from the government, or
What's the response from the people, the government? Like
Which
both.
government?
I mean, is the people separate from the government?
راشد عم بيسألك حسن انه شو هي ردة الفعل تاعت الشعب والحكومة في اليمن بعد ما بلشت امريكا بالقصف؟
والله يعني قلت لك يعني انها شيء طبيعي، يعني حتى يعني بعض الشعب اليمني فرح لانها.
Because you can't really defend your ideas without twisting other people's words. Yeah, sure, I'll defend my ideas right now, dipshit. Yeah, okay, I think there's never going to be peace between Israelis and Palestinians, but unless Netanyahu goes and unless Hamas goes. Okay, I don't think this is the best way to delegitimize or to disempower Hamas. I think Israel need to fall far closer in line with like rules of war than what I think they're doing now. I don't think they're caring that much about rules of war or civilian lives. I think they could be a lot better at that. They could be a lot better at posing a positive vision towards Palestinians for peace, not just this ridiculous iron wall bulldoze the fuck out of everyone who fucks with us kind of approach that doesn't seem to have worked very well when it comes to pursuing peace. I think if there is a change, and Qatar has already spoken about, or Egypt have already proposed ceasefires that would involve a transfer of power for the Palestinians, and it would definitely also have to necessitate getting rid of Netanyahu. And I think from that point, if that's ever achieved, then Israel is completely obligated, should be by the rest of the world, and especially its supporters, to pursue peace with the Palestinians. And to find a deal that can work for both groups. Because the fact is, there are two groups who have lived there for quite a long time. They're not going anywhere. You're not ethnically cleansing the Palestinians out of West Bank. You're not ethnically cleansing the Israelis out of Israel. Those two groups don't seem very interested in sharing a country. Not really. Not now anyway. So I think in order to go forward, I think it would be more important for Israel to rein the fuck back in on the settlements. It would be much better for them to actually destroy some of the settlements, as many of them as they can, offer any settlements that stay have to be compensated with reparations and with generous land swaps. And hopefully there can be and as for Palestinians, I think it would be much more in their interest to stop targeting Israeli civilians. If they want to use violence, I think they're entitled to use violence. I think they can focus a lot more when it comes to targeting infrastructure and making the expansion of settlements and the occupation of the West Bank more and more unfeasible. I think they're perfectly entitled to do that, even if it might risk a few. And I think the ideal outcome, I think, for now, is to approach a position where there is some dialogue happening between two groups. I think the 67 borders with two states is more or less seems to be the most obvious way to do it, because that's the closest we've come in the past. And yeah, I think if we can achieve that, then maybe people can, and there's some hope of like reconciliation between the two groups. I think we'd maybe reach a situation where those borders might start to make less and less sense. I think there can be a just resolution for refugees that doesn't exclude them from ever going to Israel. I think definitely some of them can go to Israel, and I think Israel is absolutely obligated to allow that. And I don't think there should ever be a lid on it, because no one is entitled to an ethnic majority forever. And I think as you can have those two groups living side by side peacefully for a period of time, those borders would probably make less and less sense. They're incredibly arbitrary. And then you can start to smooth over softening of a border, and maybe you'll eventually end up with two states and both groups sharing the land, inshallah, provided they want to. But I think supporting Houthis attacking civilian vessels and kidnapping the crew, and Hamas indiscriminately firing rockets and kidnapping people and brutalizing civilians, I don't think either of these are good strategies. I think they're good strategies if you want lots of Arabs to die, so you have content for your fucking YouTube channel. I think it's great for that. But if you actually want some kind of resolution that doesn't just involve one group wiping the other one off the face of the earth, then yeah, I don't know what I said. Yeah. That's basically where I stand. Thoughts, critiques?
أمريكا قصفت اليمن يعني فرحوا لأنهم بنواجه أمريكا يعني مواجهة يعني ضدها.
He's saying that again, like it's nothing new for Yemenis, and actually some Yemenis are like this is a weird way to put it, but he was basically saying like they were almost like honored to be like targeted by the US because they're confronting the US head on, like directly.
No, I understand that. I want to ask him questions about Saudi Arabia and UAE, and like do the people of Yemen recognize like Saudi involvement or UAE involvement in Yemen as it's an extension of American involvement or American proxies, or do they separate that?
حسن بدي أعرف إنه هل أنت يعني بتعتبر إنه التدخل السعودي أو الإماراتي في اليمن، هل أنتم إنه باعتباركم هل تدخل السعودية والإمارات يعتبر امتداد للتدخل الأمريكي، ولا هل تعتبروهم أشياء مختلفين؟
والله يعني ما فهمت السؤال، لكن يعني السعودية يعني إحنا معها والسعوديين أخواننا كلهم يعني، وحتى اللي ينتشر عبر التواصل الاجتماعي يعني ما في منه، ولا السعوديين والإماراتيين يعني أخوتنا، يعني ما شفنا منهم أي شيء. يعني صح إنه كان حرب يعني ضدهم، لكن إحنا الآن إخوان يعني، وما في أي حرب بيننا وبينهم، يعني كل شيء تمام. يعني حتى إني دخلت السعودية عمرة يعني احترموني السعوديين يعني ضيفوني وكل شيء، والله تمام يعني.
He's saying that right now there's no like animosity between, like to him there's no animosity between Saudis and Yemenis and Emiratis. Like he's saying like he acknowledges that there was a war, but right now like he's saying that there's nothing but brotherhood, and he even says that he went to Umrah recently in Saudi Arabia and that he was treated normally. So he himself doesn't, I mean he doesn't, I guess, I don't know, he's not like tying the American and Saudi involvement together.
That's interesting. That's good. That's probably why it's like more. Oh, whoa. What has happened to, does he know what has happened to any of the crews? Like I heard they tried, wasn't it called CAT? The chewing the lead? قات.
بدي اسالك انه شو صار للطواقم اللي بيشتغلوا على السفن؟ بيقول لك انه سمع
Are they having a good time? Are they okay?
بيقول لك انه الطواقم اللي بيشتغلوا على السفن انه كيف حالهم وايش عم تعملوا معهم.
Again, I just like, who are we hearing this from? That the crew are having a good time? Like, there's only one source that can tell us anything about how the hostages are doing, and it's the only people who know how the hostages are doing are the hostages and their captors. And I don't think the hostages are going to be allowed to go in front of a camera and tell the rest of the world how they're doing. Honestly, anyway. Jesus. What the fuck? How does this guy know? You realize they're civilians who have been kidnapped. They're civilians who have been kidnapped. What? Does anyone here want to get kidnapped? I feel like getting kidnapped would probably fucking suck. Especially by a group Especially by a group that doesn't have doesn't really have any accountability. Not really. Like what the like a stateless militant group. The fuck.
عم بيستمتعوا بوقتهم.
والله الصدق يعني مستمتعين يعني كلهم يعني وعايشين الوضع الحمد لله يعني جو خرافي واتمنى انتم تزوروا الجو هذا كلكم.
يعني انت شفت الناس اللي بيشتغلوا على السفن وبسألك انه جربوا القات هم جربوا قات.
ايوه كلهم جربوا القات حتى قبطان السفينه خزن.
He's saying they've all tried قات including the captain of the ship that he went on. He's saying that the vibes are immaculate.
Like either that crew is going to die or they're going to get released and they're going to tell us what it was actually like. What the fuck, man? Is this the sorry, where's my Puerto Rico vegan musician socialist to defend this shit? Like
No way.
he's saying he wants us to visit.
Oh, dude, I would love to one day. I am afraid of America bombs, though. That's what I'm.
No,
just like you, brother.
السفن
This is so embarrassing. Come on, I can't. 10 minutes. Okay, we did it. Well done, guys. That was absolutely insane. What a fucking insane timeline we're on right now. Oh.